1994 Toyota Spacia, or as we love to call it, the Bongo van. I've pulled most of this stuff out, but there was silage wrap, there was plastic, there's hay, stinks, all on top of the engine. I've sort of rightio, as you'll see, we've changed locations. Had to get it home from down at the block, just so I could spend some time on it. As you'll see, jacked it up. We tried to start it, couldn't get it started, so fuel tank's come out. We'll go and pull that apart in a minute. I think outside nothing's really changed. We'll head in and have a look at the engine bay. I've cleaned it up a little bit, but yeah, still pretty ratty. Inside, I managed to get the hose in here and gently squirt a lot of the rat shit off the top of the engine. Still bits of hay in that here. I'm gonna have to get rid of that properly before we get running, and so it doesn't catch on fire. Basically, we've had the air intake off and squirted some Aerostart in there. It's started and it's sort of tried to run on that, and which is good. That means plugs, points, all that sort of stuff's still alright. There's no rats that are chewed through the wiring. So then, with the ignition system working, we went to check the fuel system. Cracked, where we've got a line there, line up here, another line in there, cracked all them, and there was fuel there, stale fuel, but fuel nonetheless. Turned it over, no fuel pumping, so worked our way back, fuel filter down over the other side, cracked that, turned it over, no fuel pumping there. Went to the top of the fuel tank where the inline filter is, pulled it off there, cranked it, no fuel. So then we pulled the fuel tank out. Good thing about Toyotas, 2 bolts, fuel tanks drops down pretty easy. Undo some clamps for breather hoses, infill hose and that sort of thing, and the fuel tank's out. So I've got it out the back. We'll go and pull it apart and see how bad it is. I got the fuel tank down and draining out of her, and that's not what fuel should look like. Brown. You can smell how stale it is too. So I'm gonna let that drain. Luckily no goobies, no floaties, no solids or anything coming out of it yet, but pack some tools up before we go get covered in petrol. Rightio, now we'll get to the pump. Moment of truth. Ugh. Ew. Oh yeah, that's the filter. That's the filter for the pump. Oh, there's some fuel left in it. Look at that. That's what the fuel level would have been when it was parked up. It's just all sort of wet sludge, where this is all sort of rusty, dry stuff. Oh, nuts. That would be why it's not starting. I've got no idea how all this comes apart, but I think I'm going to need a whole new sender unit. Sender unit, pump. Let me clean up. I'll stick a light in here because I can see floaties, and if that's what that's like, you can imagine what the rest of the tank's going to be like. Oh yeah. It's not going to focus. The horrors. There it is. And that's just that part of the tank. Opposite the baffle there to... Yeah. Well, I think that's going to go into the bin. I'm going to have to try and find a tank. Complete tank. Send the unit. Don't know. Some thought's going to have to go into it because, yeah, there's going to be some money. And I'm going to have to go to a wreckers in Melbourne to get it, which is another issue with the current state of the world. So it's been about a week, and as you've seen, that tank was pretty bad. Given it all a good hose out, a friend put me onto some citric acid. He reckons it'll clean all the gunk straight out, so half of that in there, filled it full of water, give it a slosh. Slosh every now and then. I'll probably leave that in there for about a week. You can see on the infill where it is starting to bring it all away, so we might have some luck, because I've checked wreckers and all sorts of things, and tanks, complete tanks, sender units, that sort of stuff you can't get, so not that I've found yet anyway. So this might be the saving grace. If not, she's most likely going to the wreckers, so we'll give it another couple of days, and yeah, next video we'll pull it all apart and see how the cleaning process went. Hopefully sender unit's cleaned up enough that it works again, and pump, I can get a pump. Pump's an easy thing. It's the whole housing and that you can't get, so we'll give it a clean, put some power into it, and see if we can get something to move. But that'll be in the next video. Thanks, buds. So the $1 million question: why? Why would I want to take this old, not running van and convert it into a camper? Well, there's two things. One, it's a budget adventure show, so we're trying to do it something for as cheap as possible, where possible, aren't we, dog? To go out and buy a decent, well, that's not even right because this isn't a decent van. Looking around, I've only found two other Toyota Spacias for sale in Australia, Australia-wide. Both of them are in Sydney, a red one and a white one like this that has a roof rack on it, which would be good. Both around the 400,000k mark, and they want $5 grand for them, which, what did you just do? What did you just do? I hope that scared you as much as it scared me. They must be a collector's item for going for that. So basically, the car's here. The parents have had it in the shed for 12 years, 13 years not running, and I was basically able to get it off him. If I can get it going and use it, I'll pay him for the price of the car, $1,000 or so. If not, it was going to go to the wreckers. One way or another, I had to get out of the shed down there anyway. I was only taking up room, and it hardly a barn find. But yeah, to go out and buy a high ace, which would be ideal, high ceiling, long wheelbase high ace, you're looking at about $5,000 for something that's got the same amount of Ks on it. And unfortunately, there's nothing around here in that price. They're all down in Melbourne with COVID and everything. Not going anywhere near Melbourne, so yeah, it's one of them things. Always love just tinkering, building stuff, and yeah, if the van gone now, no longer got the bus, got something like this would be a good little thing to just tinker around on. I got the patrol for going away, so it's not a rush. There's no speed. I don't have to have this done by a certain time to go and do a certain trip or anything. It's all just a work in progress. Because I know, especially if I get it running, underneath all the suspension bushes and all that sort of stuff are going to need renewing before it's put back on the road anyway. So yeah, and there is some nostalgia here. Like as I said in the first video, this is the family car between 94 when we got it up until 2001 when I left home and went and joined the army, and it kept on being the family car all the way up until the receipt there for 2008 when it was up at the Sunshine Coast with Mum and my sister and the two younger brothers. They went up there for a couple of weeks to the Sunshine Coast, which again will be another 2,500-3,000 kilometre round trip in it as well. So yeah, nostalgia's here, and there's not many of them getting around. So it is, again, I like that uniqueness. Even though yes, the patrol's just a white standard patrol, it's got the canopy and the tyre on the roof, so it sort of stands out a little bit. That's where I like the FJ. Again, not unique, stands out a bit. I laugh, you go down the road and you see someone. I'm normally alert when I'm driving. I can see other people and go, oh, that's Barry over there. You go and wave out the window, and they're just, or don't even know the vehicle. So having a unique car that people look at and go, oh, that's nice, or that's a piece of shit. Honestly, yeah, it's just something, just the way I am. So at this point, I just want to get it started. It's funny, it's been in the shed last 10 years and the spiders haven't moved in. Now as soon as I've got it home, the daddy long legses have moved in and they're nesting everywhere. So it might not be long before I have to let a spider bomb go off in here. Everywhere, running along the ground. So yeah, I don't want to spend a lot of time on it if she's not going to run, because if it's not going to run, it's basically a caravan. Not really, you can't even tell it. So there was the one possibility of doing a basic fit out in it anyway, and just taking it back down the block. I'd find a nice bit of level ground next to the creek down there, and put her up on blocks and just have a little humpy cabin, home away from home. So we'll see what happens, because looking around the wreckers, especially if it's not going to run, it's going to be going away for free. I don't think I'm going to get any money in scrap for it, so better off using it for a little humpy somewhere. So that may be plan D, but we'll work on plan B's and C for now. So one thing I will do though, I'll just do a little bit of cleaning. It's raining again today, so I'll let that soak up the last of the mud and bird crap on the outside before I get the detergent, that sort of stuff on the outside, and give it a scrub. Seats and that sort of thing, I could probably start taking them out, but again, prefer to be going away for the weekend and doing something instead of staying home working on it if it's not going to be a viable project. So yeah, sweep some of these floors out, sand everywhere. All this sort of stuff. There's just well, Carlton draft label, little bits of paper and crap everywhere. So at least if I get it all cleaned out inside, it might start smelling a bit better in here too. Get rid of the old 10-year funk of not having fresh air in here. So yeah, that's where we're at with the van build. As I said, we'll give it every couple of weeks. I'll probably do a new video to show you where I am with it. But we're heading headlong into camping season now that things are getting warmer. So going to plan to do some more stuff on the bike. Get away in the ute. Just brought the boat home, so going to do some boating, indoor fishing, if that works out. So much more coming up as we lead into Christmas, and yeah, borders should be opening. More travel, not so much stuck at home, but hopefully we can get her running. Hopefully, be optimistic.